I wanted to address this because this was brought up a few times throughout my Haki theory videos. There was this point saying that if any of the theories were possible, then how come Rayleigh didn't mention it to Luffy when he explained Haki? I'm not saying my theories are 100% what are going to happen in the future, but I definitely think that even taking Rayleigh's explanation into consideration, there's probably a lot more to Haki than what we were told, meaning there's a large potential for even more powers to bloom using that Haki as a foundation. The first point that I want to bring up is that we only saw Rayleigh explaining Haki on day 1 before the time skip. So taking that into consideration, there's no chance it makes sense that in one day Rayleigh ends up explaining all of Haki to us and Luffy, especially not Luffy. Throughout the 2 years, there was probably a lot more said and a lot more shown, and we do get a glimpse of this after the time skip. There were some flashbacks to the island during the fight with Doflamingo, but that just showed Rayleigh saying to Luffy that he needs to get something new, and then we got Gear 4. But during the Katakuri fight, we did actually get a deeper Haki explanation, where Rayleigh talks about the scenario where Luffy ends up fighting someone who can see the future. He then describes how future sight is achieved in layman's terms. So I think there's a high possibility that we might get more scenes from the island that end up helping Luffy in the future, kind of like Oliver Queen and Green Arrow. But even without that, when you think about the concept of Haki and thinking about teaching it to someone, even Rayleigh was saying the 2 years would be reserved for learning the basics. So it's like Luffy took calculus and now there's Calc 2 and differential equations. On top of that, the specific quote that Rayleigh said is that training all of the different Haki types will give him an even greater potential. We know that he calls the abilities Color of Observation, Color of Arms, and Color of the Supreme King. I think the naming is important because it's obvious that colors can be mixed to create new and unique colors, meaning there's no doubt in my mind that at the minimum the basic Hakis are going to start blending to create new potentials. Another point is yes, Rayleigh taught the basics, but in that first day or even at any time during the 2 years, he did not show Luffy how to imbue Cocker's Haki into his attacks and weapons. That's something Luffy needed literally beaten into him by Kaido. Like Rayleigh could have shown it to Luffy, but it wouldn't really have made sense to Luffy back then. So either Rayleigh didn't show him that because he didn't want to beat him senseless, because Luffy wouldn't be able to understand it at the time, or the most likely reason, Haki abilities are way more complex than someone can simply learn in 2 years. If you watch my Rokushiki video, then you know that the people in CP0 are probably mixing and matching and have insane Haki abilities since they have Rokushiki as a foundation. Side note, it makes me wonder who is teaching CP0 Haki, and I wonder if they're insane like Rayleigh. So given that Rayleigh said to Luffy, I'll teach you the basics, and now Luffy is experiencing various advanced techniques, makes me feel like somewhere along the line someone's gonna say, I will teach you the advanced level, if it's not already just being beaten into Luffy, but it still feels like there are a few tiers above this.